basically you don't want to land on those notes. There's nothing wrong with playing the root of the chord. It's just not good to land on it because then the whole point of improvising over jazz chords is you want to play through the changes and negotiate changes, and you want to hear the sound. You want to hear yourself playing through the chords. So if you were to land on the root of every chord every time you came across it, well, there wouldn't really be a difference, and it wouldn't create any sort of jazz sound. It would sound very bland, and it wouldn't sound like jazz. So landing on the, like every time you come across a chord, you want to land on the third and fifth. You can use some chromatic notes and passing tones, but anyways, aside from that, yes, every time you come across any chords in the 2-5-1 or any chord really, you don't want to play the root because, as I said earlier, the bass is already doing that. So that's where substitutions come into play. With substitutions, you're already starting on the third, and the next note would be the fifth. So it's like you already set yourself up for sounding good when you do that. Whereas if you kind of just play the regular arpeggio, well then it's going to sound kind of bland. But if you play other, substitutions for the chords, for the regular chords, it's going to sound much better. And it's actually, in my experience, it's easier to use substitutions rather than using the regular chord, just the bland, normal chords. You can do that, and it does take practice, but once you get used to playing with substitutions, you'll find that it's going to be much more exciting to use substitutions, and it's going to sound better overall. It won't sound so bland. Whereas if you just used 1-3-5-7 the whole time, it would sound pretty bland. Because what jazz is, I mean, we're using all sorts of things. We're using chromatic passing tones and substitutions and 11s and 13s and 9s and things like that. So I hope these videos helped.